Hello! In this video I'm going to be doing several calculations showing how to do metric conversions using the factor label method, also known as the dimensional analysis method. So in this first example we've got 470 milliliters and we want to convert it to liters. So I'm going to write down my 470 milliliters and I'm going to multiply it by a conversion factor. And it's really important to be able to do it this way, because throughout the rest of the course, when we get into mole conversions, when we get into pressure conversions, stoichiometry, you're going to use this same method. And for your conversion factor, you always put what you want to convert to on top, and what you're getting rid of is what you put on the bottom. Getting rid of. So in this example, we want liters. So we're putting liters on top. And I always start with my units because it makes it a little simpler that way. Milliliters is what we're getting rid of, so that we can cancel it out. And now we got to figure out how many liters are in 1 milliliter. Now, going back to that one sheet that looks like this, we talked about how all of the base units are represented by a specific prefix. It says, I gotta zoom out, get it all. Alright. It says, remember that when converting between metric units, always use conversion fraction where the biggest prefix represents 1. This way, you will never be confused by negative exponents. Alright. Now, talking about what that means. Our biggest unit is liters. We got milliliters, liters. I know that because I memorized it, but what if we're just starting off and it's like, well, what are those? We want to be familiar with what these abbreviations represent. Milliliters, ml, centiliters, cl, deciliters, dl, liters, just l. We have that acronym. It's the great, mighty King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk, making Nancy pout. B being the base unit, we're at mill. 1, 2, 3 is this guy's milli. And we can kind of figure it out. As long as we have that acronym, we can figure out our conversion factor. I could put 1 liter on the top. I could put 1 on the bottom. I could put a million on top. I could put 50 on the bottom. Doesn't matter. What is easiest is to deal with 1. I'm going to put 1 liter. I could put it on the bottom. But whatever I choose, I then have to convert. So 1 liter is my base unit. I'm going 1, 2, 3 steps to the right. Alright, so when 1 liter goes 1, 2, 3 steps to the right, that's equivalent to 1,000 milliliters. So an easy way to convert between units is using that non-math way. Or, when you get good at it, you just memorize, oh, there's 1,000 mils in 1 liter. If I put 1 on the bottom, why don't we just, for fun, because this is really fun, put 1 on the bottom, 1 mil. So we got to figure out, alright, liters. I'm starting at milli this time, but instead of going to the right, I'm going to the left, 1, 2, 3 spots. You didn't see that, did you? Up here it says 1, 2, 3 spots. Alright, so I've got 1, I'm moving decimal 1, 2, 3 spots. It'll be 0.001. 0.001, also known as 1 times 10 to the negative 3. And going back to 1,000, that's also represented as 10 to the third. And this exponent is just how many zeros do you add, or how many times did you move the 0 over. So, negative exponents are always a little more tricky to deal with. So the easiest way is to avoid them altogether. How do you do that? Make 1 be with your largest prefix or largest unit. Liter is bigger than milliliter, so I'm going to put 1 with that. That way it's 10 to the third or 1,000. It's a positive number. It's a whole number. Don't have to worry about all that confusing stuff. Next, now that we got 470 mils times 1 liter divided by 1,000 milliliters, we can use our calculator that we bring to class every day because we're hardcore chemistry students doing what we need to be doing. Bring that calculator to class. 470 times 1 divided by 1,000 gives me 0.47. Liters are equivalent to 470 milliliters. We just converted using math. Not too bad. Alright, why don't we do some more example problems, because it's fun. We've got 65 meters. We're converting it to centimeters. First thing I do is write down my given. I'm converting it by conversion factor. Centimeters is on top because that's what I want to convert to. Meters is on the bottom because that's what I'm getting rid of. Alright, now my numbers. Meters, centimeters. Meters is base unit, centi C. C is a little bit smaller than B. Centi smaller than base unit. So I'm going to go with meter as putting my 1. I always put 1 with my biggest prefix. So then I'm going base unit. Base unit goes 1, 2 steps. 1, 2 steps. So I'm converting this 1, 1, 2, because I moved right on the acronym, which is 100. So 100 centimeters is equivalent to 1 meter. Now I can do my math. Cancel out my meters. 65 times 100 is equivalent to 6. Well, let's do a calculator just in case. So I don't want to get this one wrong. 6,500. And that's centimeters. I just did another metric conversion. That wasn't too bad. Let's try another. 250 centimeters to nanometers. So this one is definitely more challenging because we're dealing with those 3 that go bigger than kilo and those 3 that go smaller than milli. Which, remember, when you go past milli, go into a micro, nano, pico, you got to do 3 steps instead of 1 step. Let's just write that acronym down again. The great mighty King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk, making Nancy pout. We're starting with 250 centimeters and we want to convert it to nanometers. So we're putting nanometers on top because that's what we want to end with. We're putting centimeters on the bottom because that's what we're getting rid of. Which one's bigger? Nano's down there, centi's up here. Centi's definitely bigger. So I'm putting 1 with centi. Now we got to figure out, alright, how many nanometers is 1 centimeter? Centi's right here. I'm moving 1 step. I'm moving another step. And I'm moving a 3rd step. Common mistake now would be 3 steps. Don't want to fall into that trap. So centi to milli is 1 step. Milli to micro, remember now, is 3 steps. And micro to nano is also 3 steps. So technically it's 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. We're moving this guy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros, also known as 1 times 10 to the 7th. Or you could write it as 10 to the 7th, because I moved my decimal 7 times. And as you can see, it's a positive exponent, because we did that little trick where 1 goes with our largest prefix. I'm going to write 10 to the 7th. Centimeters cancels out. Now we're going to use our mad scientific notation skills. You see that? Alright. 250 times 1 E7. Alright, let me show that one more time where you can see it. What I typed in was 250 times 1 E7. This is 1 times 10 to the positive 7. This EE button stands for times 10. So it's equivalent to writing 1 EE7. You don't write any caret, you don't write any times, you don't write any 10, just 1 EE7. Biggest mistake people make. 1 EE7. Just repeat that to yourself. And the EE button is right above the 7 on most calculators. So plug that in and we get this ridiculously large number. Our final answer is 200, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, We're in the millions. Looks like 2.5 billion. Let's put that into scientific notation because that's just insane. Scientific notation, remember, our whole number needs to be between a number greater than 1 and less than 10. We're moving our decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're talking about 2.5 times 10 to the positive 9 nanometers is equivalent to 250 centimeters. A little more challenging, but definitely doable. Next one and last one in this video, we've got 230 micrograms, and we want to convert that to grams, so we put grams on top because that's what we want. We're putting micrograms on the bottom because that is what we are getting rid of. I'm going to put 1 with gram because that's bigger, and I'm going to convert 1 to micro by moving base unit 1, 2, 3, 4. Common mistake again would be 4, but remember, milli to micro is 3 steps. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6. Technically it's 10 to the 6 because I moved 6 steps. 230 times 1 divided by 10 to 6 is going to be my answer. Why don't we do this together? We've got 230 divided by 1 times 10 to the 6. In your calculator, you're going to type that in as 1e6. 1e6 is the same thing as 1 times 10 to the 6. Looks like I've got my answer as 0.00023 grams is equivalent to 230 micrograms. That is an acceptable answer, but what if we need to put this in scientific notation? It's nice to put in scientific notation because then you don't have so many zeros. 2.3 is a number greater than 1 less than 10, so I'm moving my decimal 1. No, starting where my decimal is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 times 10 to the negative 4. It's a negative exponent because it's smaller than 1. If it was a number greater than 1, it would be a positive exponent. And it's grams. So that is another acceptable writing of the answer, and I didn't get that on the sheet. There we go. And looks like we're done. That is how you do metric conversions the math way. It's not too scary, not too bad. Hope you enjoyed yourself as you followed along.